bring us in. Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. This week we have a new player joining us. Jack will be playing Melamed Pincus. He's kind of a broker of types. But before we get actually where we left off last week, these guys had docked with a or have discovered a deep space fueling depot owned by the Erline Worlds. And they learned a number of things. They learned that there are there's another race in the region called the what were they? They were the I always forget these guys. I don't know why. Starts with a T, I believe. The Tenipal, yes, the Tenipal, and the Tenipal are vaguely humanoid. Well, but they got fur all over them, and the Erline are actually big, giganto crab people, kind of thing.
Okay.
They look like that.
They're bugs.
And so, in addition to the Erline and the Tenipal, the group has already met up with the Hakes, which are a predatory squid race, semi-aquatic squid race, and their big thing is they're tech level 9, and their big thing is they go to a planet and they refer to it as feeding, which at first kind of had these guys kind of up in arms. But what they'll do is they'll go to a planet and they will just start raping the world for all of its resources, and their trade ships actually have manufactories built into them, and they will take all of the resources that they're taking out and turn them into cheaply disposable goods that they then turn around and sell back to the local population. Usually in the process, they uplift that population slightly in tech level. And the local population, of course, will then get hooked on that higher technology. And when the Hakes are done sucking out all the resources from the planet or getting whatever it is that they want, they then take off and leave, and then the local population is left with breaking down technology, and they don't know what to do because now they don't have access to it anymore. So they're terrible creatures. And then they've run into the Judala, which are an avian type race, and they have run into another race called the Furbolg. And the Furbolg, they have a couple on their crew now, and the Furbolg that they ran into were kind of Bronze Age. Definitely Bronze Age, but they look like they were going to be advancing. And of course, by the time these guys got done and left, they left them with a little bit of knowledge, so they will certainly be advancing their tech level. But they have run into other instances of the Furbolg. The last time that they ran into them on another world, they found them and they were Stone Age, just coming out of Stone Age, and but there's no sign of how they got there. There was no ship crash or anything. So the mystery is, how these guys were getting populated throughout the system. So where they're at now, the Erline Worlds told them that they're the Tenipal. There is another polity in the region called the Sovereigndoms, and the Sovereigndoms are a mix of both Erline and Tenipal, and the Tenipal in that case are basically, they're little more than slaves and the Erline in the Sovereigndoms are not quite as nice or beneficial, and they are all very very manipulative in trying to get what they want. So that's the sector space that they're in, and every single time it's going to be like a first contact situation, because humans have never come out this far that they know of. At least nobody from Charted Space has made it out this far. you guys are tens of thousands of light years from charted space. They started in, if you look at, I don't know if we still have that map, but anyways, they started their trip started in charted space, officially launched from Tobiah in the Trojan Reach, and they are now most of the way along the northern edge of the Great Rift, and they are heading for the uh, basically the opening of the Great Rift, where it dumps out into past out of the galaxy, and that's where they're heading. And there's a reason for that. We'll get into that. But before we get started, we would like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. Tonight, we would like to thank Dogmite Games. Dogmite Games makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your role-playing games, such as wooden custom DM screens, dice trays, dice vaults, dice towers. They have a really cool thing called the Player Vault that I highly recommend. Um, all sorts of cool stuff, and it can all be customized. If you order something that is customized, it'll generally ship in about 6 to 8 weeks. If you order something that is in stock off of their inventory on their website, this is a great idea for gifts, or maybe you just don't know what you want. Go ahead and peruse their in-stock inventory. Those items usually ship in 1 to 2 business days. And we have a code good for 10% off their entire website. When you dump all the items that you want to purchase, you can go into your cart, and when you're checking out, use the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will get you 10% off your purchase. So, giving a little bit more background. Let me see. In just a second, I will try to see what I can do about. On internet. There we go. Man, why is this website? Is it just me, or is it anybody else's internet slow?
Haven't really noticed anything.
It's not horrible.
I'm just noticing the traveler map is dragging ass.
Did you put this together? This is a new map.
Yes. Yeah, so I spent yesterday doing a lot of copying and pasting and stitching, and I took the poster map of Revelation's deck plans and pasted them all together into an actual usable image for Roll20. So that's where I got that. And I'm not going to be able to do this. So they've traveled a long ways. They're way out. We'll just leave it at that. And yeah, traveler map's just not behaving. So they are way out, spinward on the map. And the reason for that is that they had 2 instances. And the first instance of this anomaly that they ran into, they were working as rift hauler crews crossing the Great Rift, going between fuel depots, you know, carrying cargo, and they stopped at Chandler Station and heard about a derelict, and so they decided to go out and check it out because there was a huge reward from the company called Deepnight LLC. And Deepnight, this was their one of their premier exploration ships that was supposed to be exploring the Great Rift, called Deepnight Endeavor, and it was one of I think they have 2, maybe 3 of those ships, and it was the namesake of the class. And Endeavor ran afoul of some stuff, and they discovered why. And it had found a piece of what it believed was a part of a spaceship hull, and they never before seen. It was of alien make, and so they brought it aboard. And lo and behold, it was infected with a alien fungus, and the fungus, they soon discovered, will devour all life and grow as it devours. It continues to grow, and to the point where if it were to drop onto an inhabited planet, it would consume the entire planet. And so this, of course, was a problem. And there are symptoms. So, like, if people are infected, then they end up. It starts with like flu-like symptoms. Then they are mildly compelled and controlled by the fungus hive mind, and finally they end up
Oh, shit.
devolving into zombies, more or less. They're called shamblers, and so that was an obvious problem. Did you guys blow that ship up?
Yeah.
One of my groups just blew it up.
No, we didn't blow it up. We left and we went and told on them.
That's
and
right.
the rest,
That's right.
yeah. And
That's
when
right.
it went, the rescue,
That's
the
right.
Imperial,
The Imperial Navy nuked it.
yeah, while they were rescuing it.
So then, the second instance in their rift hauling career, they ended up docking on a world. They were supposed to be relieved by another rift hauler, and it never showed up. And so they docked at the next planet, a little planetoid moon, and lo and behold, that's where it was. And same thing. This infection was on the moon, but they also discovered now that they've discovered that the alien fungus, as it matures or gets bigger, actually has some psionic abilities to it. And evidently, 300,000 years ago, the Droin were aware of this virus, and the ancients sent this Droin expedition out to try to even the ancients were scared of this thing, and so they sent this Droin expedition out. And obviously, we know that while the Droin expedition was gone, the final war with the ancients happened, and even if those Droin made it back, they can't. There's nothing for them to come back to, and so. But they haven't seen any signs. They've been following some clue markers along the way of where this expedition went, but they haven't seen any evidence that they came back. So there's some questions about that too. There's a lot of mysteries going on, and so you guys have been. There's been numerous races that have been contacted, and right now at this stage of the mission. I have that map. I have it. Find it. Did some rearranging too. And initially, when I did the rearranging, the idea was that it would make it easier to find things. So they are in this sector near side of yonder, and they're on the reach B of their transport. And this particular reach is difficult because this is the last possibility that they're going to have to find some kind of way to cross the Great Rift. And so far, they have not found anything. And the alternative to that is that they would have to turn around and go all the way back and maybe cross somewhere such as the islands, or risk it and cross through the Aslan Harate in order to get to the rimward side of the rift and go down that way. And so there was a lot of obvious reasons, such as the Aslan Harate, that they didn't do that initially. But so the idea of this entire region is that they are making contact with species in the area, hoping that they will have some way of crossing the rift, or perhaps get some assistance in crossing the rift. And so they're taking their time. They're exploring everything, and they're not leaving any stone unturned. This is the sector, the entire sector. And these guys that they've met up with at the Erline Fuel Depot, which is down here, unlocked basically all of the hidden spots on this map. And so everything is opened up, and they learned, the Hakes are not that populous. Your big three are the Erline Worlds, the Sovereigndoms, and the Tenipal. And they know that up here, this cluster of worlds is kind of the home worlds of the Tenipal Alliance. But yeah, so right now they're all the way down here, and we actually haven't discussed, where it is that we're going to be heading as of yet.
If you look at the sector map there, if you picture it like a compass where the top is north, we're trying to go kind of south, southwest.
Yeah, you want to go
like
southwest because that's the direction you're trying to head to.
Yeah. So, like, ideally, this getting down in here is our. We haven't found the rift yet, so.
Well, I mean, you know where the rift is.
Right, it's down
that way.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in order to cross it, we need to get to it, so that way we can look. I mean, the further west that we go, we could be bypassing ways to get across, like this shit here, over here in this, I mean, there's just all these little planets that, I mean, there's gas giant going straight down to the Great Rift.
Right. And so the gas giant, the planets that show, or the systems that show that they have a gas giant, those are known that they have a gas giant. Those are important because they know that they can do wilderness refueling there. But that doesn't mean the other ones that don't show that there's a gas giant. It doesn't mean that there isn't one there. It just means that they haven't either they haven't looked close enough, or they or perhaps their sensors aren't picking it up. Maybe it's in the star's shadow or whatever. And so there's a possibility that there is one. But this is the.
They also could could hypothetically have planets with water or asteroid belts with ice, that type of thing too. So
well, and I mean, even blank hexes have a small percentage chance of something being there. So just because you miss jump and end up in a blank hex doesn't mean that you are completely sunk. Just mostly sunk. And I haven't even broke out the topic of jump space shoals or trenches or things like that. So those are fun. So you got where we left off. You had left the Erline Fuel Depot, which I remember is like up here, I believe. Yeah, it was 506. When you jumped down here, and the reason you jumped down to 0407 is that this is the oldest of the Erline worlds. Now the Erline have told you, and they have run into this. So the Erline do not know where their homeworld is. They don't know where it is. And last week when they were trying to negotiate getting the maps open, and they agreed to help them out, and they said that if they really wanted to make contact, this is where they should go. So both Sarda and Bocephus have psionic abilities, and Bocephus did a read surface thoughts, and he didn't detect anything outright because the Erline's mind that he was reading, he was ashamed. He was both ashamed of something and very secretive of something. So ashamed of it that he didn't even want to think it in his head out loud. And so they know that the Erline are they're hiding something that they're not proud of. But as to what that is, they don't know. So the oldest colony of the Erline Worlds is called Zaline, and it was the first to regain their ability to actually construct starships. So this is more or less the head of the Erline government. I did I Interesting. I didn't make anything of it. Oh well. So I guess the big question that I ask every week. So Jack, your character, uh, Mel, you in the past 5 years, you have had I would say probably a better than average chance to essentially um, get get stuff on the logistics end. You are a mover and shaker as far as logistics go, and you of course would have your hand into the ship-wide black market. So the Deepnight Revelation was an Imperial cruiser, a line cruiser, and the Third Imperium sold it as surplus to Deepnight Revelation, and Deepnight Revelation then turned around and in air quotes converted it to be an exploration craft. And they do include the original spinal mount particle weapon. Originally, the Imperium was going to tear it out, but like most governments, they decided that it would cost more to tear it out rather than to just sell it and claim it as a scientific device, which it is, kind of. And so that's how.
Yeah, let's see what happens when we shoot his ship with an particle device.
Well, it has been used by the science department. You know, they'll shoot it into a nebula or into a planet atmosphere to charge particles so that they can get effect the scientific readings and whatnot. So you know they are using it as a scientific purpose. It also can be used as a deterrent, obviously. Um, but you know when they kind of redid or refit the ship, that kind of refitting, going from a warship to a science vessel, is going to end up creating all of these nifty little cubby holes that can allow people to smuggle and stash stuff. And so there is a large supply of stuff from the home worlds back in charted space that is commonly traded around the ship, whether it be bottles of Denebian whiskey or scotch, or food, ever fresh food items that people miss. All manner of things is traded in the black market. Sometimes there's stuff that, one crew member got to go on a mission and he was on ground side and he got something that was really cool. That could end up into the black market. All sorts of stuff. So Mel has had
I trade Old Spice Swabby deodorant.
Axe body spray, and so
Well, if you want me to break out a case, I can get you some.
yes. And so Mel would have had his hands in, and the captain, and I want to say his name was Captain Bellamy, maybe. Anyways, the captain and first officer XO of Revelation have decided that. So these guys are kind of the special missions crew. They are a part of the missions division, but they are basically the heads of the missions division. They are all ranked as commander, and they are the more or less the first in and last out kind of group. Well, sometimes they're first in, first out. Anyways, these guys go in first, usually to any mission. Whenever the ship says, "Hey, what's that over there?" they go send those guys, and so that's how these guys get about. And so for obvious reasons, since the ship is always in need of resources and the ability to trade with other worlds, they have added Mel to the special missions team, and Mel just automatically gets the rank of commander since he's on that team. Everybody here is a commander. You're all officers now.
Okay.
So that is kind of the background of what's been going on. So this world, what do you guys? So you did bring a delegation of these Erline aboard, and I know that you have some of them that are shadowing. So the Erline use a lot of drones, and they're even in war they would rather use drones rather than risk their own hides, and so it's all one big video game to them. And but in normal everyday work, and that kind of holds true because they don't have hands, they don't have opposable thumbs, so um, they do what they have to. And so there are four of them in the drone probe department that are fascinated by Revelation's probes. Now, the Erline are tech level 10 normally, and they are, obviously Revelation's tech level 15. So they are fascinated, and they want to. But at the same time, because of how they operate and use things, they give a lot of. There is some insight that they are willing to give, even to the higher tech level, once they are taught about it and understand it. That the crews aboard Revelation are like, hey, you know what? That's a really good idea. That kind of thing. And so they're spending their time in the drone section. There is one guy, I forget who was the one guy, the administrator. Oh, he was on the bridge. That's right. So he's spending most of his time on the bridge, kind of seeing how the ship operates and seeing how the crew, the command crew, behaves. And that's kind of what you guys have been doing for this week. You come out of jump into this system. So this system single star, a primary star system, is a Type M0 star. There is one small gas giant, 2 large gas giants. There is the planetary colony Zaleen, which has what you would classify as a Class C starport. So it's not fantastic, but it is tech level 10, and if you care, it's law level 5, which isn't terrible. And then there are 1, 2, 3 other looks like rocky planets. One of them is a shipyard that is tech level 10. The Erline ships. So the Erline, this is an example. They saw these last week, first time. You see these flitting around all over the place. These are their drone craft, little 40-ton craft that are used for everything from fighter craft to cargo, modified for cargo craft. Some are even modified to be passenger haulers. But like the combat craft, they don't have any crew. They're controlled by the mothership. And then there it is. There are these that you see several of in the shipyard. These are their general service starships. And these can be, again, used for anything from warfare to trade to, hence the term general service. I mean, for general service, a medium missile base and a medium plasma cannon base, pretty impressive. And 24 double pulse laser turrets. So yeah, they're well defended. But they're used for pretty much everything. They're not always going to be a warship. Well, looking at those missiles sure says otherwise. You'll trade with us or else. You see several of these around Zaleen. And the administrator up on the bridge is, of course, offering his assistance in making contact with Zaleen and essentially telling the ground crew or the starport personnel there to calm down. Everything's cool here. We're all fine here. And
Because we got a whole bunch of them on our ship.
yeah, you got 5 of them on your ship.
Yeah, that's
I mean
a bunch.
5. That's a handful. That's a bunch.
Oh.
If they were grapes, that would be a bunch.
All right. Thanks for that.
So you have arrived, and of course Sarda, because he's got a ganglion, he speaks their language, and of course the translator unit has been translating. So what is it that? How are you introducing yourselves? What are you? I mean, he's already introduced you as to who you are. That you are clearly outsiders from.
Yeah, we're explorers on a mission, and
We're pilgrims.
We're pilgrims.
Pilgrims from an unholy land.
Well, we're from Corward, Spin.
Yeah, it would be
Space West. We're from Space East.
Yes, it would be trailing. You're from trailing. But yeah, Space East works.
From trailing. We're pilgrims from trailing. Pilgrims from we're pilgrims from trailing. We're attempting to cross the Great Rift. We're hoping that you might know a way across. While we travel, we mean only peaceful things. So I can't remember when we were at the last place. We worked out some kind of arrangement. Were we bringing freight for them, or
yeah? You brought some supplies.
I'm trying to remember what we
basically the fuel depot. It's not so much supplies. The fuel depot, of course, is almost entirely automated. It doesn't really need a crew, but there are crew that are there, but they volunteered to kind of go back home and swap out. And so you offered to take them home rather than wait for another crew to show up. And so these guys got to go home a little bit early.
That's right. That's what it was.
And so
we're bringing crew from. Yeah, we're bringing crew from the other station.
Yeah. So let me. There we go. Okay. So yes, they invite you to come down to their colony, to Zaleen, and they are very interested in meeting you. They are very. I mean, of course, the languages there is, even with the translation, there is things lost in translation. But to your way of thinking, they seem kind, polite, almost even meek. They're very humble.
Okay.
Is the best way that I guess I can put it. They're certainly not, they're the opposite of the Hagues.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
I don't like the Hagues. I prefer to fucking avoid them.
Yeah, they want to take everything out of your pockets, turn it into something else, and then sell it back to you. That's the Hagues. I'm good. I'm glad that you hate them. That means I role-played them properly. So yeah, they invite you down to Zaleen.
Yeah, I'm game. We can go and go talk.
So essentially, law level 5. About the only thing that would be, I mean, of course, light assault weapons, submachine guns, military weapons, portable energy weapons, and laser weapons. WMDs, goes without saying. Battle dress, combat armor, cloth, and mesh armor, and anything that is concealable that they find would be considered banned, because it is a law level 5 world.
But we don't necessarily know their laws and everything. I'm just going to bring a gauze pistol and my medic kit, and
Well, technically speaking, if you take a gauze pistol and you're open carrying, then
yeah,
that's not, that should be okay. I mean, my question is, how are you dressing for what is essentially a diplomatic overture?
What's their atmosphere?
That's a very good question.
yeah. That's my worry. Is they're obviously based on an aquatic thing.
Well, probably at some point in the distant past, yes. It is. Standard, Earth-like.
Okay.
Pressure is 0.71 to 1.49.
Well, if I believe it's
Pascal?
safe,
1.49 Pascal or what? What's the unit of measure?
I would assume it's pascals. It doesn't say what the unit is.
Thank you.
do I believe it's safe for us to go poking around in there and without
Yeah,
without getting sick or anything like that?
what else can I learn about this? So it is. I'll give you a little more data here. Like I said, Class C starport. It is 6. So 9,600 kilometers in diameter with a 0.7 surface gravity. Earth-like atmosphere, and 56 to 65% of the world is hydrographic. So large oceans.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. I'll just wear my basic uh uniform with the side pistol, a Diplo vest up underneath my uniform, and my med kit.
You're looking at a population of 800 million.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Just
Okay.
basic shit. If I don't think that I need a vac suit and everything, then that's what I'll do.
And their government is a self-perpetuating oligarchy. Which is interesting. Hereditary ruling class, plutocracy, etc. So, what about you, Sarda?
Diplovest and the what's the shield pop-up shield and
Okay,
stunner.
gotcha. How about you, Jack? Or
I think I'm just
Mel?
going to follow their lead.
Okay, yeah, you could just go down in your in your protect suit, slick your hair back,
Yeah.
And how about Randolph?
Randall's going at Diplo vest and auto pistol, and he's got a breather attached to it
Okay,
down the, tucked in, carrying it just in
just in
case.
case. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things these guys have done is they've installed essentially ultraviolet lights on all of their airlocks because that's one of the things that will kill the fungus among us. What they have been calling it's become known officially as the Deepnight entity, and they so they will. I don't know why they're paranoid. Which I guess means I've done my job properly.
Seasoned adventurers.
Yes, seasoned adventurers. Yes, they carry 10-foot poles everywhere, and a bag of ball bearings for some reason. So, Pappy launches you guys and takes you down to the surface. Cephas, do you have Pappy stats?
I do.
You want to make a piloting plus Dex check?
Yeah, he's a 3.
He's probably going to be okay. It's a 6 to. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got a 7, even though I sucked.
A little rougher than usual, but yeah, Pappy brings you in. It is a beautiful world. I mean, you can see, out one window, you can see just blue from these oceans as far as you can see. I mean, I doubt that many of you have been to Terra, but you've heard stories, and this is very similar to what you would have imagined in your mind as these stories of old Terra are told. Um, Completely unlike stories of old Valand or Vland, which was pretty desolate. Um, Landing, you are greeted by a delegation of Erline, and they a leader type comes up. Now, one of the things that I noticed is that you guys, of course, they're crab people, so most of them are. They at first appear that they're just wearing their shells, but then you start to notice that they do have small pieces, such as like maybe a bandolier or straps around the arms, things that will hold tools because they don't wear pants, so they don't have pockets. And so there are a number of places where they have tools attached or a Waldo rig of some type, and okay. And so you see that this guy is wearing what appears to be like some kind of rank insignia on a band, what can be described as like a bandana around his neck. And he comes up, and through the translator, it translates out that he welcomes you to Zaleen and to the Erline Worlds. And he doesn't really. He appears to be kind of oh, kind of bowing and clacking his his crab claws, and it would be the your immediate assumption is it's almost like a bow or perhaps a handshake kind of thing, and he, of course, he apologizes because he doesn't know your world's customs.
I'll bow in return.
Okay.
And that's fine. It's like we we are a collection of different worlds, and so we have many customs, and we like to we're simple explorers. We're trying to make it through to cross the Great Rift. There's been some concerning things that have crossed the rift long, long, long ago, and we feel it threatens us all.
So he is not necessarily taken aback by the idea of multiple species, because he explains to you the Erline worlds have tried to make contact with the Tenipal, and that even that first contact was met with um, hostility and derision. And the reason for that being that the Erline worlds later found out is that they had already been contacted by Erline from the Sovereigndoms, and the Sovereigndoms essentially showed up, landed on their planet, took a bunch of their people, took a bunch of their stuff, and left. And so the Tenipal believe that those people are slaves, and this, of course, happened several generations ago. Most of those Tenipal have now that are in the Sovereigndoms have now grown up in the Sovereigndoms, and so they look at the Sovereigndoms as their home. The Tenipal people do not see it that way, and the Tenipal, because they can't tell the difference between the Erline worlds and the Sovereigndoms, they just immediately assume that all Erline are bad, and so he's glad he thanks you um, for being open-minded, and he asks if you have encountered the Sovereigndoms yet.
No, no, we really haven't.
He warns you against. He says he tells you that they are aggressive and they are manipulative. So he warns you heavily.
We've had instances with the Hague, and we first come in contact with your species uh, on a planet that the Hague was destroying. Basically, they were taking all the resources, and there was a small colony of your race there, and we sent our engineers in to try to help them stabilize their little environment so they could make it. And then we've also told the people from the fuel depot that of that, and then they said that they would arrange to have them picked up. But we've already kind of provided you guys with that information where they are. But
So he's kind of leading you with his little delegation back towards. He tells you that they have prepared some refreshments for you, and
sounds wonderful.
they're kind of leading you back to a reception area from the hangar, and he does tell you. He kind of reiterates that how the Erline don't know where their homeworld actually is, and that but evidently the homeworld was fairly advanced, and he readily admits they were more advanced than the Erline worlds are now, and they had explored space and set up several colonies, and many of these colonies, well, some of these colonies have regressed, and uh, you know, are barely surviving. And he says that it is the Erline world's hope that they can, and he thanks you first of all that for bringing this colony to their attention. And he says, that it is their hope to recontact these regressed colonies and try to welcome them back in. Other colonies have culturally gone in their own direction, which is what happened with the sovereigndoms. And he says the sovereigndoms are kind of a worst case scenario of what happens when they culturally diverge so far from the baseline. But all of these other colonies, these regressed colonies, they're hoping that they can make contact with them. He says one of these days, it is our hope that we will find one of these colonies and discover that it is actually our homeworld, and perhaps make some discovery of what had happened, or get the full picture of what happened.
Are you aware of a pathway across the rift?
He kind of turns to his advisor, and they kind of whisper amongst each other for a moment, and he says there are possibilities. He says the rift is, as you well know, is devoid of systems.
Yeah.
He says, you go ahead and make a diplomat plus intellect check, and you get a +1 to that.
Might need it. I think I did put in some diplomat though.
In fact, Randolph and Mel can make diplo checks as well if you'd like.
The new guy needs to make the fucking roll. Do the talking. Do the talking, Jack. There you go.
I'm not
Fucking
sure you
get us
want me to
across the
talk yet,
rift,
since I
man.
really don't know what the hell's going on, but sure. Let me figure. So
We're trying to cross this.
In your case,
tell me how to do this.
So the role that I or the
There you go. I rolled a 2.
oh boy. So you would roll diplomat and whatever your skill in diplomat is, plus your intellect modifier.
Okay, not broker, but diplomat.
I would if you want to make a broker plus intellect check, I would allow it because you're kind of offering. You could offer trade, and that's kind of the direction this is going to be going.
Yeah, do the trade. Trade shit. We can trade information
And
on different
you get to
systems
add an additional +1 to that roll.
Yeah. we can trade information on
Then make
systems in
that a
different ways.
6.
Yeah.
So with the 6, so Mel.
Killed us all, Jack.
So essentially, what you're offering is a trade of any of these regress colonies that you run across. You found one already. That in exchange for knowledge of a crossing of the rift, or perhaps even even better, assistance in crossing the rift. And 5's not going to do it, but he tells you.
Well, if I get the additional 1, then it's a 6.
Yeah, that's a 6. 6 isn't going to do it. But, that would have been a routine check. So, essentially, so you know what's going on in the background, or on the back end of this. So, there's a difficulty number. So, average would be you want to get an 8 or better. Routine is 6 or better. Easy is 4. On the flip side of that, you've got difficult, 10 plus. Very difficult, 12. Formidable is 14. And impossible is 16 or higher. So, this would have been an average, and it didn't get it because the 6 is lower than 8.
Oh.
But
I got an 11, but I still want to go with Jack's thing because.
So he kind of hems and haws and whoop, I think we're see, it's not just me. Anyway,
No, there's storms going across a lot of the.
most of the United States, yeah. Right through the middle of the U.S.
Our internet connection would be better if Jack would have rolled better.
Probably true.
Yeah.
There's probably a causal link there between
Yeah,
the two,
it's-
two
Yes.
factors.
That bullshit roll you did fucked us all, man. Damn it.
So this trade option that you offer, he kind of hems and haws, and he says there is before the Erline Worlds would be willing to assist or offering assistance to cross in such a great endeavor, because he tells you point blank there is no easy way to hop across. So it would take assistance. The Erline Worlds knows how to do this, but it would be a pretty great undertaking, and they would have to have a little bit more assurance of you before they would be willing to offer that. And he says that if you were to make contact with the Tenipal and give us some assistance in making contact with the Tenipal and kind of smoothing that situation over between the Erline Worlds and the Tenipal Alliance, that would go a long ways in that direction.
Would you be willing to send a small delegation of your people to travel with us across the rift? We like to absorb other, not absorb. We like to.
We like.
Yeah, we like to simulate
He
other
doesn't like to
cultures.
assimilate.
It's futile.
Yeah.
It's futile.
Yeah, but no, we like to pride ourselves in taking a little bit of all peoples, because all the together we're stronger than just separated.
The dolphin
and all
man
of,
just wants their DNA.
Yeah, I will require a small DNA sample and an occasional testing.
Here's a magazine and a cup. Come back to
Yeah. Well, no, you don't get the cup until you've waited the required 3-hour wait time in the waiting room.
in the waiting room. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll play video games while you hang out in the waiting room.
And the
for
only
3 hours.
magazines in the waiting room are like Women's World
Oh no, like
and
Like,
National Geographic.
no, straight calculus math scratch books.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he
we can.
he
we
point
can
blank
try
tells
that.
you, he says there's really, that would be part of it, and that's one of the reasons why we have to we have to be more assured of you before we'd be willing to do that. There's no way that you could go across without assistance and without some of us going with you, or at least part of the way.
That's a rather bold take on things, but we're not going to argue with you on that.
And you're going to find out.
Right. I think we could get across without you motherfuckers, but you motherfuckers probably would make it easier. Oh, that. I mean, we've got a plot destination that the whole campaign rests
Yeah,
upon.
yeah, we have
And
plot armor. We're going to get
yeah,
there one way or the other.
yeah, but no, we don't. He'll kill us.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not afraid of killing characters.
But no, I guess I don't think anyone would object to us going and trying to broker an introduction. You know, if they want to pick out 5 people who are willing to work with our drone operators, you know, as part of their duties on the ship, and we could get to know each other better, and you know, maybe have some drinks and some light movies or something. Sarda's got a lot of them. You know, we could get to know each other's personalities and stuff. You know, maybe we'd like to hold each other for a little while, and you know, just talk
It's
about
just
our
a slow
feelings.
dance. It's a slow
Yeah,
dance. Yeah.
yeah. Just the tips, you know. And no, but no, seriously. Uh, uh, you know, if they could send 5 or 6 people with us, we'd be more than happy to try to, you know, get an introduction and see if we can get you guys on more friendly terms.
He says
That
this,
would.
that would be fantastic. And he kind of turns to the depot administrative assistant, and he says, "You and these 4 others have spent the most time with the newcomers." He says, "Would you be willing to would you and your group be willing to continue journeying with them and to secure a diplomatic future with the Tenipal?"
No.
Almost.
Fuck these guys.
Right, almost. And so, the, this administrator kind of turns to the other 4, and one of them is like, "Nope, I'm home. I'm not, I'm not going anywhere else." And he says, "Well, me and these 3 would be perfectly willing." And so the diplomat kind of, or ambassador kind of, does his crabby nod, and he says, "Well, um, your delegation." And he says, "But it would be my recommendation when making contact with the Tenipal to not introduce them to the delegation right away, because um, they are um, quite angry with the Erline as a people, despite the fact that the Erline Worlds didn't perpetuate these terrible truths on the Tenipal as a race."
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll take your advice.
So you are spending your time, you know, they have plenty of food, um, probably a lot of shellfish, I would imagine.
Sounds. Do they have fish?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's. I'd like to try their different flavors of fish. That's primarily what I do. Fish, maybe some prawns,
Everybody
shrimp.
make a recon plus intellect check.
Grr.
So if you
How
if
do I
you-
roll 0?
Bam! That's what you're talking about.
So you have recon 0,
Yeah.
it would just be recon plus your intellect modifier. If you have no intellect modifier, then it's just a 2d6 roll.
I got an 8.
Nice.
I got 14.
Nice.
Fucking box cars. Blam.
Nice.
Railroad tracks.
So if you don't have a skill, that if you don't even have a 0 in a skill, then that means you're untrained, and you automatically get a -3 to whatever it is, unless you have Jack of all trades. If you have Jack of all trades can only be from 0 to 3, and for every 1 that you have in Jack of all trades, it reduces the amount of unskilled that you are. So if you have Jack of
Okay.
all trades 3, then you're not unskilled in anything. It basically treats every skill like it's a 0.
All right, so I did the other roll incorrectly then. So everything is a 2d6 roll, and then your skill level is a plus.
Correct.
So I would have gotten an 8
Oh, well.
on the original broker roll, but that's okay.
Okay. So, anyways, so you note, all of you note that I mean there are various shrimp and shellfish and fish-like dishes. Some um, some vegetables that appear to be, like sea cucumbers and seaweed. But one dish that the Erline consider, or several dishes rather, they consider to be of a delicacy, like a delicacy. This is their showcase of their buffet tables at the ambassador level. The best that you could call it would be fermented fish or shellfish.
Pickled herring?
It is not pickled. That's the problem. We're not talking about Viking food. We're talking about literally this is fish or shellfish that have rotted. In a lot of cases, considerably.
Well,
And
that's what they do with sharks in Iceland.
right. And the Erline,
And it's an acquired taste.
yes, acquired means it's bad. Uh, I learned to like it because there was nothing else to eat, and I was starving. The Erline that are at this delegation are loving this stuff. But I mean, to your human senses, the room stinks of rotting fish.
I'm curious, is if you have any fairy tales or legends or anything like that of a dangerous mold or fungus that out there exterminating life.
Make another recon plus intellect check.
I wish I could use my last one, but I can't. Oh, motherfucker. 7.
When you ask this question, you see you visibly can see the blue color of his shell goes a little bit lighter in color.
Read surface thoughts.
Go ahead and make a roll.
That's what you get for fucking around with psionic people. Let's see. I'm +3 on this. That's 11. I ought to get pretty good on that.
So yes, you read surface thoughts, and again, so his immediate thought is, "Oh my God, do they know?" And very shameful. Like he doesn't want to think it out loud. Like if he thinks that somebody might hear it, and little does he know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've been tracking this mold fungus for a very long distance, and our goal is to go to its source and eliminate it. I've happened to have extensive knowledge on the entire thing. I'm willing to share all of that with you so you can know its signs and what it's capable of.
Your reading of surface thoughts, he is directly thinking about something that related to the mold, something that directly related to the original Erline homeworld.
See, his homeworld got fucking assimilated by the mold and it's dead.
It's fungus,
I
by
bet
the
you.
way.
Yeah, the fungus got it. I bet you was. So I bet your homeworld's on the other side of the rift, and
Are you
that's
going to
where
bring that up?
Yeah.
He says, "Well, that we don't believe that that's true. Even at the higher tech level that our ancestors had, we wouldn't have been able to at that time travel that far. We're confident that it is somewhere in this region of space.
Okay, then. I'm not going to argue with it, but I think he's wrong. If they know a way across the rift and they think they can help us cross the rift, then they crossed the rift for a reason. And I got to think that the rift is the only reason that this mold hasn't just really fucking fucked with us on anything that we've known. Right? I mean, that's a legitimate thought, I think.
Possibly.
Yeah. I hope I don't think illegitimate thoughts. God.
Take a look here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these people here are near the front lines. I would think getting them informed on what to look for, what could happen. I mean, God, I downloaded several thousand years worth of fucking crazy drawing memories.
So he does. He tells you. He says that the Erline Worlds in this region of space is the most advanced starfaring culture. He says, look even at the scout ship that you came down on. He's just looking at that ship. He tells you that that must be the fact that we're the most advanced starfaring culture in this region must seem almost ironic to you, since you're having to ask us for assistance across the rift. You're far more advanced than we are.
Right. But you're from here.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I mean the whole idea is we're trying to save all of existence, and if you know the path to cross the Great Rift, that gets us closer to our way. Why would we not ask people? I mean, we're friendly. We're willing to help people when they need. Um, Surely you wouldn't think it's weird that we would think you might be willing to help us. I mean, that's the whole basis of us talking.
Right. And he says that he says the Erline have never. We have sent out scouts, and we are explorers. But the Erline Worlds has never crossed the rift. I'm positive the Tenipal have never crossed the rift, and I doubt that the Sovereigndoms have, because the Sovereigndoms, being independent little pocket kingdoms themselves, are not concerned so much with exploration as they are in conquering. And there's nothing to conquer in that dark place.
Okay.
So he says we've never crossed the rift. That's not to say that we believe it is impossible, but there's been nothing. There's literally nothing of interest for us, but it, it it's not unfeasible.
Okay.
Is there,
Well,
aside from, so while you're at this diplomatic delegation meeting, is there anything else that you're approaching them with, as far as trade or gifts, or I don't know? Is there anything that you want to purchase from them, or
God, this might be another place. We don't really need a retrofit or nothing right now, but
About food.
yeah, we do need to get some food stores up and all of that. I guess if we're gonna go try to do this diplomat thing and do that, we can, or we could just say fuck these guys and continue to. I mean, it's up to you. We can get across this rift without them, I think. But
I'm always looking for entertainment.
yeah,
okay?
How many millions of hours of entertainment do you have now?
Not enough.
Not enough.
I can tell you from having lived through the pandemic, You know, all the people that said, "Oh my God, there's so much entertainment on Netflix." No, there's not. I think I expended everything that was worth watching on Netflix in like a week.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, ugh.
Well, that's kind of like why I like role playing and all that. Is we kind of write the story ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, role play.
You know?
These games is what got me through the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, excuse me. So Sarda's looking for entertainment. And Bocephus and Randolph are interested in food. I don't know. Mel is your broker. Did you want Mel to broker?
That's his job.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, sounds great.
So Mel, go ahead and make a broker. So the ship does have things to trade, such as in the form of like raw ore, some exotic elements, things that they've picked up and mined along the way. So there is a barter system that can be set up, which is what I would assume that you would be making the purchase with. Mel, you can make a broker plus intellect. Yeah, make a broker plus intellect check.
Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how the hell to do that. Clearly, I don't know how the hell to do that because I just typed the wrong thing. All right, so plus intellect plus my broker ranks, right?
Correct.
God damn it!
No,
Well,
that's
you
how.
were.
Well, this was going to be a routine check. These guys are perfectly willing to trade with you. The one thing that I forgot to have Jack do for Mel, so we do occasionally use the optional characteristic from the updated or from Mongoose Traveler Second Edition Update 2022. And so there are morale, luck, sanity, charm. That's it. Those four: morale, luck, sanity, and charm. So to get your check for those, just roll 2d for each one,
Okay.
and the modifiers are as usual. So 6 to 8 is a 0, 9 to 11 is a plus 1. And the reason for that is that sometimes there are a lot of times, like for instance, dealing with these guys. For instance, social wouldn't apply necessarily because it's a completely different culture. So in that case, your charm may actually come into effect.
Well, I am not a lucky fucking person. That is.
And luck
That is yeah.
is cool because you can expend luck points as a direct +1 to your roll. And then if you're just expending them in that way, then at the end of a leg of adventure, you get those back. You can also burn them. If your character is going to outright die, you can burn your luck to save them, and that's a permanent loss.
Okay.
I have a luck of 3 myself, so
Yeah.
And apparently a charm of 5, so I must have been a hell of a salesman.
Well, charm isn't everything in sales. If you know your product, it should sell itself. If it's a decent product.
Yeah, you just have to lean on your smarts and not your ability to talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Signals.
Or my education, because that's even better than the intellect.
So yeah, you're able to broker a deal with these guys to get Sarda 11 new pieces of entertainment that they view on Zaleen. Um, these are anything from serial dramas to fish-related cooking shows, etc. You are also able to get another 80 units of food supplies, which is huge. It is, of course, all seaweed, shellfish, shrimp, and fish.
Sounds great to me.
but they can preserve it.
What?
They're aware of the requirements for space travel, so they can preserve it for you.
No crawdads?
Well, there's a couple lobsters in there.
Yeah, that's a good job. That we
Yeah,
always
that
have to
was
do this
right.
shit all the time. Is trying to keep our fucking supplies on the ship up. So, yeah,
My broker skill of 0 is not that great.
yeah. My way of
Mine's
selling
minus
stuff is
threes. Mine's minus three.
I try to psionically make the people just give me shit. I haven't really tried that yet, but that would be my way to go about it.
So,
You want to give me all your food?
right,
Yeah.
yes. So you guys you go ahead and you finish up this delegation, and Pappy flies you um, back to Revelation. What is the let me find you route that you're going to take
We're going to try to.
to get to the Tenipal Alliance? So
Well,
they
where's
are the subsector directly north of you. They're up here.
we can go by spots of 4,
Right.
right?
Yes, you have J4.
One, 3, 4, just like that.
Yeah, but one's just a star, right?
You don't know until you get there.
Yeah.
But that's okay because I already have the page open for randomly generating a system.
The first one we know is a gas giant.
Yeah, this one is of course a gas giant.
Yeah,
Right.
and then from here we can make Zarda roll his scanning thing, and they could look at these 3 and see
That's true.
which one. Because I mean, really, either one, this one or this one, either one of those 2 would be great. Because this one right here puts us in a jump to right there in their shit.
That's true. This one. So yeah, if 0202 pans out, then that wouldn't be terrible because
We could jump directly from there to the.
yeah, that would get you into their range. What does it say?
Is that a brown dwarf?
That it is, with a gas giant around it. Your science division is kind of salivating over that idea. Those are very rare.
I'll bet.
They like to call them a brown small planet or a small star rather than a dwarf. We try not to be like a midget, because we call it a brown midget, and it's not offensive to anybody.
I don't care if I offend a star.
Well, they have a big following, probably have a lot of followers on their social media and stuff.
Yes. Okay, so you're jumping to 0205, right?
That's my suggestion. I think that's unless someone's got something better.
Not me.
Yeah, there's no way I have an opinion on that.
Okay, so
Uh, there's a solid reason not to. I mean, it's going away from the rift, and we're not going to cross the rift unless we get to the rift and follow it. I mean, that's how you cross a river. Is you go to the bank of the river and you follow the fucking river until you find a way that you
until you
think
find
you
a tree
cross.
that's fallen over a bunch of
Yeah,
rocks. Yeah.
yeah. So
Sure.
I mean,
So Sarda, do you
Go-
want to make the electronic sensors check?
Sure.
I mean, electronic sensors plus intellect or education, you get a +2 for the ship sensors.
+2. That'll work.
Whew, yeah. So you are not detecting a gas giant in 0202.
Okay.
You're detecting only two. You're detecting a single star, which looks like the primary is a K5, and you're detecting two rocky worlds.
That's a bust.
But somebody can make a electronics communications plus intellect or education.
Comms is me, unless Jack has got some badass comm skills.
I do not.
Okay. Well then, there's an 11.
Okay, you are detecting some faint radio signals coming from this system.
Man, I don't think it's smart to go to a system that we don't know that there's jack shit at that continues to fuel us. I mean, we'd have a J1 from there left in the tank.
Can we still?
I mean, you have two other systems here that you can.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Can we still
technically
scan?
three other.
Can we scan these other systems then until we can find a gas giant?
So-
I prefer this one.
Okay. Yes, you can.
With that one being the fallback.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Roll a d6.
Oh, sorry. Let me roll a d6.
Oof.
1.
Nothing in this system.
Okay. Well, I'll scan the one next to it
Okay.
right here.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Nope.
There's nothing here. You got one system left. You roll
That one doesn't help us too much.
Not a whole lot. I mean,
I guess
it could
I
get
guess
you
it
as
could-
far
I guess
as up
it could.
here.
Yeah, I can get us to those two. So yeah, I guess so. All right, so I'll scan those as well. So is it another d6?
Yep. There we go.
5.
So this one.
This guy was. These people were about to be a shit out of luck. We're about to tell them, well, sorry, we can't make it. Bye.
Well, with the radio signals, that means there's possibility of fuel. You know, ice could be ice belts, could be planet.
I hear you.
Roll 2d6 plus 4. Okay.
11.
No.
So this world does have
That's 15 gas giants.
it has 2 gas giants. Both of them are small gas giants, but they are suitable for refueling. And you are picking up, in addition to those gas giants, the gas giants themselves have a number of moons. There are 2 planetoid belts and 4 other worlds in that system.
I mean, that's the way to go then, right?
Yeah, it's the only place we know for sure we can refuel.
That's the way I
mean-
suggest we take, unless someone just
It's an extra jump, but it's our best bet.
just do the Van Halen.
So that's only half of your refueling. So that'll take up less time to refuel. I mean, you'll be able to refuel in like a day and a half.
Sure.
Do we want to take the scout ship to 0202 and see what that radio signal is?
We could. I
May,
don't know.
maybe once we've refueled.
Can we scan these things up here that
So
are 4 jumps away?
if you want, you can make another another electronics sensors plus intellect check. Wow. Okay.
There's 15.
Yes, you. Yes, you.
Roll a d6.
Oh, yeah.
2.
So this one, roll a d6.
1.
You like those ones,
There's
man.
nothing here.
All right. Well, then we'll scan the area to the right of that.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
4.
Yes. So roll 2d6 plus 3.
Yeah. Pretty boy. Yes, you are.
9.
Nothing of major value here, but there is a gas giant.
Perfect. That's where we lay in a course for.
Okay. Where are you going from here? Well, I mean, you could go anywhere from here. I guess you're wanting to
I
go
thought the
up
goal
into-
was
Let's see. What
let's go to the brown dwarf.
Okay.
Actually, wait. This is the goal. This is where we're actually supposed to get going to.
Yeah,
that correct?
that
This
is
is our-
the Erline Worlds. So
Let's make the jump right to where we're supposed to go.
Yeah, that's what I think.
so
I think we go get this over with.
so from here, as you're
We
refueling,
hit the brown dwarf on the way back.
So from here, your scientists using their long-range sensors can determine that 0109 is a complex system of actually two identical brown dwarfs that are orbiting one another, and there's a third that is a close companion. And
All right, we'll go visit
Boy,
them on
that's
the way
where
back.
and there are
Clear
6 gas giants orbiting the 3 of them.
that's like really where.
Yeah.
It's like 1 in a trillion.
And 2 of the gas giants are super Jovians. And it seems that it is on a
Oh, geez. That means there's 2 almost brown dwarfs.
right. And one of them seems to be gradually spiraling inward. Hard to tell at this distance how long it'll take for it to, self-obliterate. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You could get as far as up here. Or here.
Yeah, no, I think we go right to the main world, right here. Just go right
I
in the heart of
concur.
Yep.
Does Jack concur?
Yes.
We must be a government bureaucracy. We're looking for 100% agreement. That's why we never got anything done.
You're right. Let me see
I mean, we couldn't approve anything unless everybody agreed. And there was always at least one party that it was a disadvantage for them to agree.
Who wants to make another comms plus intellect or education check?
All right. That's 12.
Damn. Okay. So out of this, now that you're closer, I mean you're 1 parsec away from where all these radio signals are coming from. You are getting the strongest signals actually coming from 0307. And they're, of course, in a language you don't recognize. And
Well, let's
actually,
go there.
at what?
If that's where the strongest single is, and we don't know which one. Do we really know which one of these?
Well, you're getting signals from all of them, but it seems like this one seems to be the strongest.
And do we actually know which one is the capital?
Yeah, let's go there if that's the strongest signal.
Okay.
And we'll spend the whole time that we're refueling and getting ready to jump. I want to do my best to try to pull in as much communication and stuff so we can get our translators dissecting on that while we're in jump space. Maybe
I'm having the gecko buffed out, and our bronze man is doing a tune-up.
So in your week, the few signals that you got now, of course, over 7 light years, they're going to be not super great, but they're strong enough that your translators are able to kind of chew on what they picked up so far. And 0307, the signals that are getting are referring to a planet there that is, in the simplest of terms, is translated as home of Tenipal.
well, that's a great little beacon for us.
At the end of your week, you come out of jump, and this is a binary star system. The primary is a K5 star, the secondary is a K7. And this is another peculiar system because both of these stars have their own star system. So, and of course, the K7 is way out there, past the Oort cloud kind of bit. And there's a bunch in here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 rocky worlds. There are 4 small gas giants, and the radio communications show primary 1 as being home of Tenipal. Primary 4 translates as not good. Primary 6 translates as ambitious place. So you do see that there is some sign that not good. There is around a D-class starport, so they have a flattened area. There's a colony there. There is a C-class starport available at home of Tenipal, and there is a C-class starport at Ambitious Place. The secondary star has a large gas, 1 large gas giant, 1 small gas giant, 3 rocky worlds, with 1 of the rocky worlds being named Mining Port, and it has a C-class starport. These guys have really spread out in their own solar system. You're also seeing... Where is it?
This is like Epsilon Epsi,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Epsilon Indy.
You see that there are a number of these vessels in the system. Now, not great.
2,000 tons. Sear. Titanium.
Bullshit.
11.
You see 3 of these things immediately in the primaries system change course and move toward Deepnight Revelation, kind of on an intercept course, and immediately start hailing Revelation.
Well, I'll have to respond, I guess.
I'll bet they.
yeah. a 75,000-ton cruiser just appears and they've got nothing but 2,000-ton spheres. Yeah. After they all clean their shorts and change their pants.
Yeah.
I'm already wearing my brown pants.
I think ahead. So
I mean, do we have the capability of sending them a basic message saying that we're here for peace?
go ahead and make a communications plus intellect check, and let's see how your comm skills with roughly translate. You did. So you send the universal. You send Rick Sanchez's universal symbol of peace, and they pick it up. No, that is yes. That's yes. I told them this means peace. And so they you on your sensors you were picking up that they were starting to they were putting a target lock on Revelation because they've never seen your ship before, and that calms them down, and they kind of move into a formation around Revelation with the idea that they are guiding you towards home of Tenipal, primary one.
We should launch missiles now.
The planet. We should launch antimatter missiles at the planet.
Right. Yes. Yes. And so, it takes you. Let's see. Yeah. What is?
The whole time that we're traveling, I'm gonna have the comms directly feeding every radio signal I can get to the translators.
Okay, so you're feeding.
I didn't specialize in artillery for.
You're picking up everything in the system, a ton of traffic. So your translators. So it's thrust 4.
This is just like 61 Cygna. It's a binary star system with the same K series star.
Interesting. Actually, that is. Operation.
Those are some seriously impressive notes. if you can recall that.
You mean all of this for the ship stats for Revelation? Yeah. I don't recall all of it. That's why that's why I brought it up, because I couldn't remember what the M drive thrust is for Revelation. But
4.
Yeah, it's 4. So
Pretty darn fast.
For a ship this size, that's really
good.
screaming, man. I mean,
that's cooking.
Yeah, this is a really large ship. It's technically a military ship. It's been somewhat demilitarized, but it's got like down the center of the whole thing is this real big gun, and
yeah, it's a spinal mount.
Yeah,
Particle
I mean,
accelerator.
yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, 2DD is the damage on it.
Yeah, so it's 2d6 times what? Times 10, and that's to another ship.
It just
well,
seems,
2DD.
it seems like the campaigns that have spaceships provided. Seems like the campaigns that have spaceships provide really nice ones.
Yes. Yeah. So
the Harrier and this
at 4G, 106 minutes for you to travel in, with this formation around you. Although I don't know that they could keep up at 4G.
I think they're 3.
They might be 3.
slow down and make them feel better.
Shit, no, they're thrust 1.
We'll slow down and make them feel better.
Yeah, they are thrust 1. So it'll take you 211 minutes to get to the main world.
That really helps. We get more communication out of our translator there.
Right. Go ahead and make another comms plus intellect check.
Oh, the pressure's on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this sucks.
So
they talk fucked up, man. I don't like them.
Well, it's not so much that they talk fucked up. You are crunching the data and are able to, and the translators are translating their language in this amount of time. The problem is it's taking you time to pick out the individual pieces, because there is so much going on in these two solar systems that it's overlapping and just kind of flooding your comms. I mean, you're spending most of your time sitting there dialing back and forth trying to figure out which communications is which. Some of it is TV signals, some of it's radio signals, and then you've got comms traffic coming from the three ships around you. It's pandemonium. But you eventually do get to the main world, and you are likewise invited down to another first contact delegation situation. And they are a little bit careful on this particular instance. They meet you in their hangar. They, and off screen here, there are several armed individuals. Now these guys, like I said, they are humanoid, but they are covered in fur. Probably a better picture. I've shown these guys this stuff before. Got some big feet.
We've met them before, just in different places, right?
No, you have not met the Tenipal yet. These are new. They do remind me of the Furbolg.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. For Jack's reference.
Do we want to bring a Furbog with us to see if they could maybe be a little familiar with it? I don't know.
These are the Furbolg. So yeah, they kind of resemble a shaved Furbolg. And so these guys making contact. I have an entire chapter for these guys. So so they are very so okay. Again, who are you bringing? How are you dressing? What are you doing the same thing you did before? And then aside from you guys, who are you bringing with you?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm planning on
I
doing
assume
this.
this is this a breathable atmosphere?
That's a very good question.
Do I need to wear my vac suit? Or just wear a breather?
So it says so again, about 9,600 kilometers in diameter, 0.7 gravity. Atmosphere standard tainted, 0.71 to 1.49. Filter mask is required. I mean, you could, after a while, attenuate yourselves to it, but you're going to have asthma-like symptoms until you're used to it. And it is an Earth-like world, 66 to 75% water, large oceans.
Gee, just like Earth.
Yeah, it's very Earth-like.
Just like Earth right now, tainted, polluted.
Right. The population here. This is one of the reasons why the population is about 10 billion.
10 billion?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why trying to cipher out all of the different radio transmissions was a nightmare.
I hear you. Well, the more we talk, the more we do, the more we'll be able to communicate.
Are you bringing anybody a special with you? Like, I don't know, the Space Wizard, David Anderreich, or are you leaving the Erline delegation aboard?
I think we ought to leave the Erline delegation aboard the Deepnight, most definitely.
Are we going down on the Scout?
Yeah, we shouldn't go down with our big ship.
I assume that Pappy just flew you down in the...
Yeah. I mean, I think we should just take our main guys in the Space Wizard and of course, we can have Stimpy brew us some tea or something.
So for Jack, this is the Space Wizard,
Should
David
I bring it?
Andereich. He
Okay.
So he is an interesting individual that is somewhat of a mystery to these guys. They met him back in the Trojan Reach. They met him on Homestead out in the middle of the desert, and he was kind of negotiating with some bandits that had, I believe, they stole some stuff and kidnapped some people. And when these guys showed up, and he basically got the bandits to disarm, and then turned around to walk off into the middle of the desert. No vehicle or survival equipment. He was just walking, and they offered him a ride, and he said, "Don't worry, I got it," and took off. And they're like, "Oh, that's really weird." And then, like 3 jumps later, they arrived at Yggdrasil, and he had somehow beat them there. And so this guy's able to do something, and they're not quite sure what. But he says that he's not really a wizard; he's a sorcerer, and he is a part of a very rare group, a small group of individuals from known space that look for ancient texts and just lost knowledge and lore across all of space. And he was very interested in joining the crew, and so he has kind of become their, I don't know what you would call it, but he sometimes has insight where others wouldn't. And they've checked him out. They tried to scan him psionically, and the only thing that they got with contact was that his brain looked like the inside of a stellar nebula, and so it was very disconcerting for them. But aside from that, he seems to be normal human, and he he can't perform magic or cast any spells. But then, if you're not watching, he'll do something rather spectacular. So yeah, nobody quite understand what's going on with David Andereich.
Gandalf.
Right, Gandalf the Space Wizard. So
We historically we have like bringing him to first contacts, and he seems to have enjoyed going to those.
right.
Keep the
So
Space Wizard happy.
yes,
Next
keep the Space Wizard happy. So we are going to break here. Jack, did you remember to give Mel the the one extra skill from the exploration?
I did.
Okay, good.
I did.
I am going to what the heck? I'm going to give you guys 1 XP point for handling the Erline fairly well. And so this is how
Okay.
you can spend XP points, Jack.
I'll
So-
take my
I've
diplomat
realized
to
I'm
one.
getting close to my cap. I'm realizing I'm getting close to cap.
Are you getting close? Well, from there on out, it's all zeros. But so you can spend 1 XP point to raise a skill 2 level. If you don't have it, you can get it at level 0, or you can take a level 1 skill, or a level 0 skill up to level 1
Okay.
for 1 XP point.
I raise my.
And you can't save XP points. When you get them, you have to spend them.
Okay. That's key information right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the downside. I mean, how do we raise anything above 1?
Right. Don't
We
worry.
can't save them.
There is going to be some stuff coming where you're going to get like 2 or 3, but some of these little in-betweeners, you only get like 1.
So I raise my stealth from 0 to 1.
Good idea.
I'm gonna raise recon, I think.
That's a good idea. We use recon a lot
Yeah.
because it's basically the perception skill. Recon is the perception skill, and investigation is, of course, the search skill.
Oh, man.
Aware
That's
of
how
what
you
D&D
do it.
is.
Oh shit! There you go.
Yep.
Now I figured out how to make that little box show up. Got it.
Nice.
Well, I'm out. Thanks. It was good meeting you, Jack, and everybody
you, too.
else. See you
Have
next time
fun.
around.
Yeah, I will see you guys next week at 7 o'clock on Friday night.
Good night.
All right.
Night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Take care.